Hello and welcome to Mayhem with your host May May.
So it was just a new year. And what happens at the turn of a new year happens to be turn of a new decade. Everybody has and creates these resolutions and these goals and all of these ideas for what they want the future to look like. And always, when New Year's comes around, there's an overabundance of hope. So I wanted to talk today about the dichotomy of hope and what exactly hope is. This is something that I've been struggling with for a very long time. Whether it's Emily Dickinson talking about hope being a thing with feathers, or Brene Brown talking about hope not being a feeling or emotion at all, being a cognitive function. I think the thing that I've understood best about hope is it is optimism for the future. So it's looking towards the future and having optimism towards whatever goals and whatever feelings and whatever ideas you want in that future. The problem with this is, as much as you can choose, as much as you can work towards, as much as you can give towards your future doesn't always turn out the way that you want it to. And I have had a very black and white relationship with hope, and I'm still trying to figure it out. And it's one of those things, some people walk through life and are worried about love and wanting to find love and not sure if they have love and all of those things. And I feel like I've had this relationship with hope because I want hope and I want to feel hope, and I want that in my life, but at the same time, I want to live now, and I don't want to worry about the future, and I don't want to worry about the past. I want to worry about this moment right now and making this moment the most precious moment that I can. And so a lot of my history when it comes to having children, I've had to play with hope an awful lot. I got married when I was 21, and by the time I was 23, he had joined the military so that we could have kids. And he joined the military for a lot of reasons, but having kids was my main idea in him joining the military, so that we could afford it, so that we could have the good health insurance, all of those things. So we had been married for 2 years when we started trying to have a baby. And we tried, and we tried. For a year and a half, we tried. And I know that when you try to have a baby, it's a lot of broken hearts. It's a lot of upset feelings. It's a lot of, every month you hope and you pray that that period won't come. And every month when it comes, you're a little bit more heartbroken. And it's very hard. And so we tried for about a year and a half. And then right when we got the first appointment to get him tested, because that's how the military works, you get the man tested and then you get the woman tested. So we had the appointment to get him tested. I turned up pregnant. And we were so excited. It was going to be our first baby. We had everything planned out, and there was so much hope for this baby, for our future, for everything. And then I was about 4.5, almost 5 months along. Mind you, that's almost 20 weeks. It's halfway through. And I got a call from my doctor that said, this blood test that normally turns up negative turns up positive for you. She said, now most of the time when it turns up positive for a couple, there's nothing wrong with the baby. But you still need to go into Pensacola, because we were living in Florida. We were living in Fort Walton Beach at the time. So we need to drive an hour to Pensacola to have a level 2 ultrasound. I will never forget that day, because I went in there, and when I'm nervous, I pee. When I'm pregnant and nervous, I pee twice as much. So I'm in and out of the bathroom all day long, and they give me the above the belly ultrasound. And she was talking, we had found out that we were having a boy. She pointed it out, everything else, and then she stopped talking. And then she called somebody else in that room. And then instead of doing an above belly, they did a vaginal ultrasound. Sorry about that. So anyway, the ultrasound tech starts calling people into the office, and more people, and then the office goes quiet. And then everybody left, and they said, get your clothes on and meet us in the other room. And they kept us waiting. I think it was about 30 minutes. And every 5 minutes I had to pee because I was nervous. And then the doctor came in, and he sat at the table with us, and he said, your baby has a problem that is not suitable for life. He didn't say that he was going to die. He didn't say that he said he is not suitable for life. And I'll never forget that. So here we are, almost 5 months pregnant. All this hope, all these dreams, all these ideas for this baby. And all of a sudden, we're not going to have a baby. This baby's not going to live. So I made a lot of hard choices. I had an abortion within the week, because when you're over 20 weeks, that is considered a late-term abortion. And we couldn't go anywhere in Florida. There was nowhere in Florida, and the hospital that we were diagnosed at was a Catholic hospital. So they could not say, here are these abortion clinics, or here are these places you can go to. So the genetic counselor slipped me some numbers. So I got the number for a place called the Women's Feminist Clinic in Atlanta, Georgia. And they specialized in wanted pregnancies. What that basically meant was that instead of waiting in a room with all the other women getting abortions, I got to wait in the back room. And then they would do my abortion. They would do my medicine last, and then they would do my abortion first the next morning. It was awful. And they didn't give me warning. They didn't tell me not to eat. They didn't tell me I would get sick. They didn't tell me anything. And so it was the worst experience of my life. A lot of things happened. It was the worst night in my life, and it was the worst day of my life, and I had lost my brother the year before, and this was worse than that. But we still had hope. We still had hope that maybe we could get pregnant again. Maybe this child wouldn't have anencephaly, which is what my first child had. We had hope that we would be able to have a healthy child. And so 6 months later, we did. We got pregnant with my son. And then 3 years after that, we got pregnant. No, a year and a half after that, we got pregnant with my daughter. And so I had 2 healthy kids. And that was amazing. And then I got divorced. And, you know, you lose hope. Hope's not really a part of anything. And then about 3 years after I got divorced, I started getting baby fever again. And I knew that I was young enough to still be able to have a child. I knew that I wanted 3 kids. And so I married a guy with no baggage who was a very kind man who I cared about a whole lot. And we tried to have a baby. So I tried to have that hope again. But this time I spent a fortune trying to have a baby, only to find out that there was no possible way for us to have a baby. And so when it comes to having children, when it comes to your maternal instinct, when it comes to that, I am very well acquainted with what it means to hope and what it means to try to hold on to that as hard as you can, and what it means to have to let it go. I do feel like hope is a feeling. I feel like it's an emotion. I feel like it's something that comes and goes and it ebbs and flows like normal things. I have a really big problem with the way Brene Brown, who everything Brene Brown says is gold. I love it. But when she talks about hope, she loses me, because hope is not clinical terms. Hope is not a cognitive function. I have lost hope and I have gotten hope back. And it has been very tangible, and it has been very something that I feel in my heart. And I feel like I have a hole when I don't have hope. And it's not an optimism towards the future. And it's not, knowing and believing in myself. It is a tangible feeling. And so recently, this is what I've been struggling with. I've been struggling with hope and how to work through that. The book I wanted to talk about this time is a book that is quantifiably without hope. It is about the most hopeless book I've ever read in my life. It was a very prose book. It was very poetic. And at the same time, it was very dark and deep and tortured. It's called The Terror. There was a TV show about it. It's very boring. The book's kind of boring too, let's be frank. Anyway, so it's about a finite group of men, and they're stuck in ice for an infinite amount of time, indefinite, indeterminable. They're stuck in ice, and it is the 1800s, and they cannot get out of this ice. And they have been there for a year. And then all of a sudden, something starts stalking the boat and taking them in and eating them. And it's kind of this story about how these men deal with it. They're from all sorts of walks of life, lower class, middle class, upper class, everywhere. It's a beautifully written book. You get to see all of these different characters. You get to see all of these side stories. There's things that you don't think about that are really well written. And I'm going to spoil it. In the end, out of all the hundreds of men on these two boats, one man survives. And he survives in a way that's unexpected and unbelievable. And at the end of the book, when you're done reading it, it feels like a legend. It feels like something that sinks into your bones. But it is about men losing hope and wanting hope and working towards hope and trying to find that hope again and going to great lengths to find that hope. And in the end of the day, it's just not there. So The Terror is the book I wanted to talk about. It's a hard book. I had to listen to it. I couldn't read it because I was bored stiff. But if you can sit there and listen to it for 24 hours, it's a beautiful book. And I'm really glad that I read it. Because even in the deepest dark, there always lingers hope, even when you don't think it's there. So at the end of the day, even though I am not sure exactly what hope is or what form it is, I know that I'm always chasing after hope. And in this new year, with all the new ideas and all the new goals and all the new resolutions and all the new things that we want to get done, I hope that hope finds you. And I hope that it blesses you on your journey and that you learn to walk with hope. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.